All right. Um, Hello. I just wanted to put this video out. I wanted to clear a few things up and just kind of let you know where my head's at. Obviously, a lot has been going on the past month or so. So I think we have a lot to talk about. And what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk's assassination, that it has really, truly affected me a whole lot. And we'll touch on that as well. And just some of the things that I've been seeing in the various communities, and of course, social media. But yeah, let's let's just try to get into this. Like, basically, how did we get here? Like, for me, this started off as just playing Final Fantasy 14, and over time, I just started to see some of the ways that people talk to each other. They talk about others, very hateful things, very untrue things, things said without receipts, without any evidence. People just want to, cancel for no reason. They just want to hate on people, just outrage. And you constantly had to walk on eggshells, and you couldn't really just speak your mind about things. And this happens in a lot of communities. I mean, it's not limited to just Final Fantasy 14, but this is just my experience within that realm. And I want to be perfectly clear, because a lot of these comments, people just have some like revisionist history of events, of what happened with me, or like our time rating or time spent together, like rating and stuff. And I just want to say, like, during that time, that was my genuine self. I just didn't let on that I had, I know, shocker, more conservative leaning values and stances. Because at the end of the day, I did not care what background you came from, or your sexuality, or whatever it is you were going through in life. I repeated that in stream. Like, you don't know what people are going through. We're just here to raid. I'm here to help. And I enjoyed that. And I loved helping people clear. I loved helping people get through their content. And I did not discriminate. And that was my authentic self. So for people to come up with these lies saying I'm faking who I am, and that deep down I have hatred for everyone, that is an outright lie. I do not have any hatred. I do not have hatred for anyone in the LGBTQ community. I have no hatred whatsoever. If you want to live your life in peace, what do I care? All right? We'll play some video games. We'll have a good time. Where I draw the line was when the hateful, violent rhetoric started to becoming normalized. And I started seeing this pattern, and I started seeing people suppress others, browbeat them, and it seemed people were just afraid to speak out against this hive mind. That's what I would usually call it. And it's just like, if you say one wrong thing, you were going to get canceled. And at the time, it's like, maybe I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't get political. I shouldn't. Well, clearly, I mean, that's not for everyone. You shouldn't have to be political. Like, that's not everyone's bag. I respect that. But there will come a time, and I think with what happened with Charlie Kirk, I think that is one of those times. And I have said this, I've repeated this for months now. When one of your core values is challenged, you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to take a stand. for what you believe in, and you're going to have to deal with the consequences, and and you will see those around you, if they were actually your friends, if they cared about you truly, or was it all conditional based on how you aligned politically? Do you agree with everything they say? Do you pass their purity tests? It's those people that I'm praying for. It's those people that I'm sad about. Because it's like, well, I guess everything I thought was real. Maybe it wasn't so. And my eyes have been open to that. That's rough. It's rough. And I also understand that there are people that just, they don't want to get involved at all. So they keep their distance because, maybe that's their livelihood. And if they get involved, maybe it's dangerous for them because they know the stakes, and they literally maybe just can't afford the stakes. They can't afford to lose the financial support. And that also makes me sad that many people are held hostage. Maybe not everyone, but it seems a lot of them are held captive by their own audience. So they can't speak out even if they wanted to. They can't really speak their mind on things because they'll lose like their source of income. And that's kind of something that is I definitely have felt the pinch there, but I'm fine. I have support. I do. And I will weather through this. And no matter what, if I need to get a job elsewhere, fine. I don't care. I sleep pretty good at night with what I've said and what I've done. But I just wanted to clear some things that, like, I have no hate for anyone. And if you want to have a conversation with me, that needs to happen. And that is something that Charlie Kirk would often preach, keeping the conversation going. Because once the conversation ends, then it opens the door for violence. When we're not talking to each other, we're more likely to just start attacking because we don't know what the other side's thinking. We're not having a dialogue. We're not understanding each other. So I invite you, and if you've unfollowed me and what you've seen recently, maybe you've had a change of heart, you can message me privately and we'll have a chat. And there will be no judgment. Because I sorry, this has just been beating me up a little bit. A whole lot. But that's just that part. I've seen... Okay. So kind of let's just get back to where I kind of left off. I'd said some things within the 14 community. I criticized the game, and then it got political. And then more people just kind of realized, hey, this guy's not like us. And then that's when the labels started flying out. And let me tell you, those labels, they mean absolutely nothing. You minimize what they truly mean. If you keep calling people Nazi, if you keep calling people fascists, bigots, and you don't have receipts, you don't have proof, you're just saying these things all the damn time. Like, I know why you're doing it now. At least some of you, I know why you're doing it, and it's truly wicked. You're... I'm not even streaming, and someone subscribed to me off. That's crazy. That's crazy. I was about to thank a chatter, but I'm actually... Okay, anyway, I'll thank him when I'm live, I suppose. Anyway... Oh my god. When you keep calling people Nazis, you're just saying that to justify killing them. Well, I killed a Nazi. I killed this person. I'm good. I'm on the right side of history because they're a Nazi. So when you use these words, you use these labels, like I can see right through that. And if you think I'm exaggerating or this is hyperbole or something, I have all the receipts, or many receipts, of people actually wishing death on me. Some just today, many last month, pretty much this whole past month. And people resort to these crazy things. They say they want me dead. They make fun of my stroke. I've had so many people make fun of my stroke. Like, that's so dumb. I have no control over that. And let me tell you, I do not wish that upon you or your family or your loved ones. You don't want that business. Okay. Heart disease and stroke is something that I champion and raise money for every year with the American Heart Association. Like, it is a global killer, and I don't joke around with that. And I would never joke around that with you. But people use that, they weaponize that against me, just try to hurt me, to try to make me feel bad. And I just feel sorry for you. But I saw it, I was like, I hope he has another one. I hope he dies with another one. The first one should have taken him out. You're not thinking straight. Maybe it's your brain damage. Like, you didn't say any of this stuff when you thought I was aligned with you politically. You're like, oh, he had a stroke. Oh my God. But the moment I have different opinions than you just want me dead. Immediately calling me Nazi. Immediately. I've been called a Nazi more times than I can even count the past month. That needs to stop. That has to stop. You are not winning any arguments by calling people that. You are losing the argument immediately, because we just roll our eyes and it's like, okay, all right, this guy, he's one of those. Have a discussion. But we've already seen it. It seems like many of you don't want to have a discussion. You want us silenced, or you want us dead. That much is true. I've seen the messages directed at me and others, and of course what happened with Charlie Kirk. And then, of course, the other thing you guys were pissed off about was I called out Kate at Square Enix, the localization lead consultant. I called her out. This wasn't a harassment campaign. This wasn't an attack. You guys don't know what harassment is. I know what harassment is. Okay? I have a court date coming up because of someone who harassed me. It takes a lot to actually get a harassment protection order. They will turn you down if you don't have the evidence. So the things that you accuse me of for harassing others, that's not harassment. Okay? I called someone out on Twitter because of the post they made publicly. And I would do it again. And you're seeing it happen live right now with countless other people that have showed how truly evil they are by celebrating the death of someone on their main account. You can see their titles, you can see who they work for, and those people will get fired. And I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope these companies see exactly who they have within their ranks and how it's affecting their customer base, because money talks. And Republicans buy shoes too, all right? Republicans play video games. They don't want to alienate a lot of folks within our country, okay? They don't. That's not good business. So you can't have it that way. And not everyone that disagrees with you or is on the right at all is a Nazi. So that has to end. Stop using that word. Stop fucking using that word. It doesn't do any good. And the crazy people out there, this is important. I hope you're listening. The crazy people out there will use that as ammo to justify them killing someone. They're going to see that enough times and they're going to be like, well, if all these people say this guy's a Nazi, it must be true. If I take him out, I'll be a hero because, morally, I'm correct. You have a responsibility to really watch what the hell you say. Now more than ever. You saw what happened with Charlie Kirk. This needs to end. And the hateful, violent rhetoric that I called Kate out on, that needs to stop too. Because, let me tell you, when you list things like, Confederate or Nazi or fascist or whatever, these are all just code words for conservatives, for people on the right. These aren't like far right, alt-right people you're talking about. You're just talking about everyday, like, centrist, moderate, right-leaning, maybe a bit more to the right, maybe, Christian conservative. These are people you just don't agree with, but you can't call them Nazis. Charlie Kirk did not deserve to die. There is zero justification just because you did not agree with that man. And you can't go broadcasting and use your platform, use your reach, whatever it is, and start making calls to action to purge a group of people. You can't do that. Nope, that's not right. You can't say you're either with us or you're a Confederate and you have to purge these motherfuckers. There is no in between. That's unacceptable, completely unacceptable. And if you truly stand against hate, that's a hateful comment, and you should speak out against it. I had more people actually upset at me, and I did this on purpose. Oh, I knew I was kicking a hornet's nest, but I made a hat that said, "Make Eorzea great again." I made that hat because I saw that you guys didn't react. You did not react at all to actual hate. You called me a hateful person without a shred of evidence, no receipts, not a clip, nothing, because they don't exist because I haven't been hateful. So I'm like, okay, here's a hat, here's a meme, make Eorzea great again. There's a make Azeroth great again hat. There's plenty of others, copycats like that. Like, here's one for us. You got more pissed off at that. In fact, I think you're more mad at that than you are with Charlie Kirk's assassination, and that's pathetic. That is truly sad. Crickets. Silence. Dead silence, man. Nothing. You're not speaking out against it. You're not. You got to prove me wrong, all right? If you stand against hate, that's a very hateful act. Killing someone because they don't agree with you politically, they have a different opinion, that is pretty damn hateful. So what's worse? What's worse? You tell me. Yeah. So if you see these people in your gaming communities and they're calling out for violence and they're pushing and normalizing acts of violence, that's got to end. We can't have that anymore. It shouldn't exist. Like, we are going to kill each other. We are going to cause even more extremism on both sides. But right now, it's kind of heavily weighted on one side, which is the left. So after I made those posts and after I made that hat and I pissed off majority of the 14 community, lots of unfollows. Okay, fine. I went dark for a while. I'm like, all right, I said what I had to say. I got my message out there. I listened to my friends. Well, tried to listen to my friends. It took me a couple of days. It took me a few, but I did start to unplug and get away from social media and just kind of get my head right and try to focus on other things because it was mentally draining. Just seeing all the hate pour in and trying not to respond and read all those messages and trying not to live in it. That's how one of my friends put it. Don't live in it. Stop living in it. And of course, you know, it was especially hard because Asmongold ended up reacting to my drama. Well, I wouldn't call it drama. He reacted to my calling out of the violent rhetoric like a week after the fact. It was like a week later. And I was already in the process of just kind of like, you know, all right, let's take a step back from social media. Let's just kind of get your head right. And it ended up reacting. I had people calling me. I had people messaging me. I was like, oh my God, like what's going on? He followed me. He agreed with everything I had to say. And I'm like, okay. That's great. And you know what? Hold on. I have this penned. This is a Zeno, actually. He told me something so funny, and I kept it pinned. He goes, after he saw this, because you know, he gives me like the tough love, right? Like he tells me straight, and he was worried about me. He's worried about his friend, and I truly appreciate him. You're not going to find a better friend than someone like Zeno, okay? And I truly appreciate him, and I do intend to talk to him some more, but I do want to just let you guys know I'm okay. I'm okay. Like it's just been a bit rough lately. But he said after we saw Asmongold react, he's like, "You can't be trusted currently to not fuck this up." Basically, he was saying, "Don't get on Twitter." Like Asmongold reacted, you really can't top that. So just mic drop. Do what you got to do. Go away for a while. You know, hit the gym. I ended up just doing that too. I kind of pressed the pause button on all my streams. I haven't streamed in a couple of weeks, probably maybe here and there. I might have a one off or something, but I took that time to really not look at Twitter as much and not doom scroll. And I also worked on my garage. I actually finished my garage. It's been sitting there for like 2 years with like, you know, shelves, stuff on the ground. So it took about a week. It actually took me, it was a good week project to do. Cleared everything out, cleaned it up, got all the wood, shelves, everything, stained them, put a clear coat, everything's back on the walls. And then I assembled my home gym. And I actually just had my first workout today. It was a push day, you know, chest, shoulders. I even did some squats and stuff. So I'm going to be pretty sore tomorrow. But that is going to be a great way to just kind of channel some of this energy for, I don't know, or just some of this emotion. It just gives me some sort of, you know, way to exert myself and focus my energy elsewhere to something more productive than posting and responding to people on Twitter, which I know I was doing a lot of that today. And, but I think that it's just with what happened with Charlie Kirk, like I was going to be fine. I was going to be fine. I was easing myself off of that, and I was going to be like, all right, we'll return to stream. We'll be more chill. I'm not going to get all crazy or like, you know, rapid fire responding on Twitter as much. I was prepared, and mentally I was in a pretty good place, ready for that. I wanted to come back and do maybe some Path of Exile, have some fun, but then I learned about Charlie Kirk. They assassinated him live in front of a college crowd, in front of his family, in front of his kids. I saw the videos. There was a glimmer of hope he was gonna live, but it just didn't turn out that way. So I'm like, oh my God. Like, they killed him. They killed this man. And he was one of the few conservatives, I would say, that would just, like, well-known ones that would go out into hostile crowds, have debates, be respectful, give them the mic. He'd have a mic, they'd talk. And if the crowd was hostile towards them for their views, he would hush them, stop the jeerings, like, let them speak. Let them speak. We need to have the conversation. Keep the conversation going. Again, keep the conversation going, or else that's how we have violence. Whereas if we're not having conversations, if we're not talking, then that opens the door for violence. Man, they shot him, man. They shot him. I don't know the details yet, but I can only assume that they just don't like what he's saying, and they wanted him to die for it. They had a difference of opinions. They didn't like his words. He was unarmed. He had a microphone. He was a father, husband. He wasn't even a politician. He was just a public speaker. A damn good one, too. And if you want to welcome debate, if you want to have that conversation, that's when you shoot someone who's known for doing that, that sends a strong message that you do not want to talk. And that was awful to witness. That was awful to witness in that moment. And then I start seeing the messages from people. And I could not contain myself. I have never been so pissed off and angry and upset and livid, like a fire in my chest. I cannot put out. I cannot put out, and I will not shut up about this. And I will not apologize for this. And I challenge you, if this changed you, if this changed your perspective and gave you pause and be like, ooh, I don't think I stand for that. I don't think I want to be a part of this party. I don't want to be a part of that group. You don't have to be. You don't have to be. Now would be the time to speak up. Now would be the time to distance yourself from those who celebrate and cheer for the death of an innocent man who was killed because of words, who was killed because of a difference of opinion. If those are the people you want to surround yourself with, I pray for you. I pray for you and I pray for them. Because let me tell you, those people are demons. They are evil. They will drag you down. And the moment you say something wrong, they will want you dead too. They did it to me. As soon as they learned, I am not like them. I don't think like them. I got the death threats. It will happen to you, but you can weather it. You can get through this. It's fine. It's going to be fine. You have a lot of support. You have a lot of people that are now speaking up, and you need to do the same. You don't have to live like this. You can tell these people to shut up. You can tell these people that it's not right. And can you live with yourself if you don't? Can you sit there and be like, no, this is okay. My friend said, yeah, he's going to celebrate that guy's death. He deserved it. Well, again, I pray for you if that's the case. I truly hope it's not the case. Oh, a lot of talking. But that truly sickened me. It sickened me to just... I've just never been so grossed out and disgusted in my life. Seeing people that I know, names that I know, that claim to be positive, that claim to be the party of acceptance, or we don't F with hate. Those kinds of people, that's what they claim to be. Hey, we don't like hate here. And yet you say nothing. You say nothing when the people within your circles are cheering for the death of someone who has a political opinion that's different. That's messed up. That's truly messed up. I hope you can live with yourself. Please speak up. You have to root them out. They should not be in our community. They should be... Those are the ones that you need to denounce and condemn. Those are the ones you need to say, this is not all right. That is unacceptable. These are the people that should not be working for our gaming companies, our publishers. I do not feel comfortable knowing there are people like that working at Square Enix. I don't. And some of the other games that I saw, I will not be buying those games. I will not be. Until they are all fired, they are all removed. If that's how they feel about me, because they've called me a Nazi, I've gotten the death threats, they want me dead. And they would cheer about it. They will 100% cheer about it. I would never do that. Never. If this had happened to someone on the left, I would have condemned that too. You may not believe me. It's like, oh, okay, sure. No. There's no room for that here. There is absolutely no reason to kill someone for difference of opinion. Anyway, I think I'm just going to leave off with probably one of my favorite quotes for you guys. It's a quote by Bertrand Russell. I don't know if you guys know him, but this was from a long time ago. Bertrand Russell. And he has some words of advice for us. Okay, one's intellectual and one moral. But here, he goes, I should like to say two things. One intellectual and one moral. The intellectual thing I should want to say is this. When you are studying any matter or considering any philosophy, ask yourself, what are the facts? And what is the truth that the facts bear out? Never let yourself be diverted either by what you wish to believe or by what you think would have beneficent social effects if it were believed. But look only and solely what are the facts. That is the intellectual thing. And the moral thing I'd like to say, I should say love is wise, hatred is foolish. In this world, which is getting more closely and closely interconnected, we have to learn to tolerate each other. We have to learn to put up with the fact that some people say things that we don't like. We can only live together in that way. And if we are to live together and not die together, we must learn a kind of charity and a kind of tolerance, which is absolutely vital to the continuation of human life on this planet. Anyway, thank you for listening. If you made it this far, just thank you. And again, to my friends or former friends or whoever, let's have that conversation. My DMs are open. We can keep that conversation going. We do not have to resort to violence and fighting each other. You don't want that. I don't want that. All right. God bless. Bye-bye.